I've got a talking dog behind me. She's whining at me. I love you. I see you. This is my little dog sitting gig. I think I might turn this into some more. Anywho, tonight we're going to talk about worrying. Do you really need to worry? Can you do things to stop yourself from worrying? Because, this is a problem that many of us have. So I'm going to roll the intro and I'll be back. Boom! Let's do this. Do you remember who that What Me Worry guy is? Tonight I do have Sitsquatch with me. And I do have Gorm, his best friend from Norway. I'm like, which way do I turn these guys? So they're here. I just, you know what? I need to make a stand for these guys so they can sit somewhere so that you can see them. So they just pleasantly sit to the side and watch me. Okay. So, a lot of people, and I did some screenshots from, I put a post up yesterday that said, what did it say exactly? Something about what if we didn't have to worry? What if I didn't worry? And so have you ever actually thought about that? Is that something I could do? Is it something that would help you if you now I'm just realizing I'm saying all the and likes. Oh well, whatever. Okay. Talking about it and thinking about it, would it be something that would help you maybe deal with some of the things, right? So I got some of the information. So this is, what if you didn't worry? How would your life chance? Hey, take a chance. How would your life change is what I meant to say. So I got some from betterhelp.com, medium.com, which is one of my favorite platforms. And there's a study on Towson EDU News. And Towson University is known for their comprehensive academic programs, research, and community engagement, which is kind of cool. Okay. So first, what is worry? It's thinking about a future event with fear and doubt. It usually causes anxiety. I've been guilty of a lot of anxiety. The question is, can you live worry-free? Okay. So I put this together. I took screenshots of what people said yesterday. And I know it's okay to share this because they actually answered it on my page. So Amber says, ugh, I wish. And then Judy says she thanks God. So, there's a spiritual aspect for it too. Patty Crawford says, I'm such a worrier, always have been, trying hard to be better at not worrying so much. Okay. And then Summer, sleep quality would improve for sure. Actually, yes. Christina Vetter said, I would save so much time and energy if I could avoid worry and use both more productively. Exactly. What are your thoughts on this? And then my friend Laura, who's getting married, so probably has a lot of stress. She's back in Chicago right now. Girl, this hit home today, staying in the present or trying to. And that's one of the solutions. Anne says, I could relax more. And then Jill says, are you kidding? Everything would go to hell if I didn't control it all with my constant concentration, which is awesome. I love that answer. Crystal says, trusting the universe is my favorite. And then Jason, I find distraction helps. What's going to happen will happen, which is true. Worrying about it won't help. If it's, did I pack everything for the games? A checklist helps. Just like good old pilots use for pre-flights. And then I'm ending with Laura. I love the saying, if you're anxious or worried, you are living in the future. Live in the present. So those are some things we're going to talk about today. So what are some techniques that you use when worry starts creeping up? Or do you have any techniques? And maybe some of these will help you if you don't, okay? So lots of peeps worry about everything that could go wrong, but it rarely does. What do we worry about? We worry about money, careers, relationships, the unknown. That's just to name a few. Why do we worry? Well, because sometimes we feel it's a way to emotionally prepared for negative outcomes. So for instance, if you have a test coming up and you're like, I'm going to fail, and then you fail, you're like, okay, well, I already mentally prepared myself for this. So I'm not going to be as freaked out that I failed, okay? Problem is, we often combine worry with problem solving. Worrying is not problem solving. Worrying can tend to lead you to problem solving at times, but it's not the same thing. They're not in and of each other. So here are some stats taken from a Cornell study, and this is just to give you an idea of how worrying works and how you could look at it. So this is an actual study, but I don't know if it was 10 people, 100 people, but it doesn't matter. So let's just say it's even 10. Like here's the deal. This is what's kind of a cool stat and what I'd like you to think about. 85% of what people worried about never happened. Of the 15% that it did happen, 79% of the time, people handled the problems better than they thought they would. So that's kind of a cool stat, right? So I'm just the mathematician that I am. Over 85% of the time, it's most likely not going to happen, or you will handle it. Okay. So people even said they learned something from the experience. So I say that all the time. I have another theory that we don't always have to constantly go through stuff, but when we do and we learn from it, we do definitely grow from it. I have a friend who, had started a new job years ago and was afraid, was going to be having to answer the phone and answer questions of people and whatnot, and was kind of afraid to do that. Ignored it the first few days that they had this job, and listened to the voicemails and realized, oh, well, these problems aren't as bad as I thought they were. And then called back, and if they had left a voice message, I'm keeping it ambiguous for a reason. And if they had left a voice message, then when the people with the problems called back, they would answer, because then they knew it was a problem that they could tackle, and then that gave them a lot more confidence. Boy, that sounded kind of crazy, didn't it? So here are some things you can do when worry pops up, okay? And hopefully the brain shows up in this. Oh, it does. Okay. When worry comes up, think about it and ask yourself, is this something I can control? Okay, that's a big one. Look at where the worry stems from. Sometimes it's from past trauma. If that's the case, do your best to cope with it and let go of what's beyond your control. So if you think about it, now it depends on like the type of trauma and how serious it is, but the past is the past. It's hard to let go. But when you focus more on the present, you will begin to notice that you worry less. And really, we can't worry about stuff that happened in the past because it's in the past. We can't change it. Okay. So that is the thing. When you have anxiety and when you have worry and fear, it's because you're thinking about stuff that's happening in the future, and we just can't control that. We just don't know, So be mindful of your thoughts and try to put aside thoughts that cause worry. Okay. Make checklists. Now, I'm not a big one on this, but Jason Knox mentioned that, and Laura Tipton had mentioned this stuff about thinking in the future, but it can be a very useful visual. So like if you're worried about completing something, check those things off the list, and it can help you worry less as that in which you can't control. Okay. So like if, like Jason had said, if you're worried about not packing things for a trip, I always make checklists for trips. So it's not that I don't ever use checklists, and I literally go down. I usually get my iPad because I don't have to write it on paper, and then I can check it off. Oh gosh. Ugh, my throat's so dry. Okay. My sister and I always say this. Who gaff? Who gives a f, right? What others think is beyond your control. Unless you're being a douche, it truly doesn't matter what others think. So the fear that you have of something should not be of what other people think, especially if you're really wanting to do something. Okay. Okay. Comments. Katie Jo says, same. Exactly. Okay. So then avoid overanalyzing. Now, this is easier said than done. I know. Try and think about a situation for what it is. Take action and move forward. So I had mentioned this, I think, in something. No use worrying about the rain, because you can't control whether it's going to rain or not, but you could prepare for it. Don't overanalyze it. Just prepare and move forward. Make sure you have an umbrella if you're going out. Cover your things if they need to be covered. That kind of thing. I mean, those are simple analogies, but be patient with yourself. It takes time, friends. It takes time to get good at things and particularly master things. So try a day in which you keep track of the times you worry. Then, redirect your thoughts. Oops, I should have a period there. Do this for a week or a certain amount of time and see if it improves. Like I'll put like a thing in my phone and like ding, 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 and like just check off things. And I'm actually curious about this. I thought about this later, so I think I'm going to try this tomorrow. So when a thought pops up, I'm going to try and redirect it as best I can. I'm going to just do a check mark. I don't need to write down what the thought was unless you want to. Like, you can be as thorough as you want to be. Okay. And then find things to be happy, including something that hasn't happened yet. So you're going to see John Cusack in Chandler when he comes to town. I'm excited about that. Okay. So instead of worrying about what you might do if a relationship ends, for instance, that could stop you from appreciating what you have now. So if you're constantly worrying about, I don't want to lose this, I don't want to lose this, you're not living in the moment, and you could lose it just because of that. So that's the only example I could think of as like a relationship, but there's lots of other things, I'm sure. I mean, you could say, oh, I'm nervous, I'm going to run out of gas, but you could prepare for that and make sure that you have enough gas. So this is something people think about a lot. And with the state of the world right now, it's weird. And everything is unknown, right? So we got to do the best we can to be the best we can and to feel the best we can. So here are my final thoughts. Worrying is not problem solving. It takes time, so be patient with yourself. And remember that chances are that it won't likely happen, or you will be able to effectively handle it. So that's the biggest one for me. I think if you think about that, like, chances are it's not going to happen. So I need to really think about redirecting my thoughts, or I'm going to be able to handle it. And then you can maybe think about, what am I going to learn from this situation? So I hope this helps. I've been doing pretty well at keeping these shorter, which is amazing. Remember when they were like an hour long? I do need to do some cooking ones again. Okay, Sit Squatch says, the journey begins with you. So be good to yourself. And Gorm, well, he's just happy camper and says hello. Oh, you need to hold him closer to me because he messes up the screen. All right, Horgan loves you. Peace and love. I will see you next week. Bye.